What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB. Excuse the sweat and the glistening. Just got in from the gym, but this is me here with the review for the haves and the have-nots. This is season 7, episode number 8. So, you guys, we are one episode away from the mid-season finale of the haves and the have-nots. This episode was titled Heavy Lifting. So, you guys, let's go ahead and just jump right into this video because it was a good episode to me. Alright, you guys, so this episode picked up where last week's episode basically left off. You guys remember, David, he walked into the room and saw what? Madison and Jeffrey bumping uglies. So, David walked out of the room, shocked as hell. I'm like, well, shit, you should have knocked. I mean, I get it that it's your crib, but, you have a grown son. You might just want to knock because he could be in there, he could be half naked. He could be beating his meat. There's a lot of things he could be doing in his room. So next time, just as a precaution, knock and see. Hell, he could be asleep. Just check next time. So, Jeffrey's in the room freaking out. And Madison is like, calm the fuck down. Like, you acting like being gay is such a bad thing. He said, I've come to the conclusion that being gay is not a bad thing. But the fact is, my dad just walked in on us having sex with each other. And Madison was like, so how would you feel if, you were sleeping with a girl? Would you feel the same way? Yes. No, you would not, Jeffrey. You're uncomfortable because you and your man, well, not really your man, but you and your dude was in there banging each other. Well, from how it was looking, it looked like Madison was banging Jeffrey out, but that's neither here nor there. So, Jeffrey, while Madison is getting dressed, Jeffrey asked Madison out on a date, and Madison's like, wow, this is a little backwards. We just had sex, and now you want to go out on a date? He was like, I'm going to work. Why don't you come to the cafeteria? He says, no, I want to go out to a restaurant and you pay because I know I just gave you the best. Basically, he was saying he gave him some good sex. I'm like, yeah, I could have did without that one too. So then we see David downstairs. David is trying his David was trying his hardest to pretend like nothing happened because Madison came downstairs and Madison was, speaking to him. Hi, Mr. Harrington, how you doing? And he was like, I'm good, Madison. How are you? And, like he's looking at that magazine, he said, someone must be really interested in that. he was doing his best to make David uncomfortable. And David was like, aren't you leaving, Madison? He's like, eh. He was like, well, how's your back? Do you want me to check your back out for you? Nope, I'm good. Don't you have somewhere you need to go? Weren't you just leaving? Nah, yeah, but I'm just having fun making you uncomfortable. And then Jeffrey comes downstairs. And, David still does not want to talk about what he just saw. Poor Madison and Jeffrey, y'all scarred the fuck out of David. Because David was not ready to see gay sex. Even though I felt like he might have gay sex with Jim. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But, yeah, David wasn't ready for that one. He definitely was not ready for that shit right there. But let's move on, you guys. Alright, you guys, so next up, we got Celine. And if you guys notice that my tongue is blue, I've been drinking Powerade. So, Celine, she went over to Veronica's house. You guys remember last week, Veronica told her to come over there. So she gets there. Veronica's like, hey, you want a drink? She says, you're drinking? Veronica says, yes. Aren't you? She says, well, I guess so. She says, well, the drink ain't gonna fix itself. I would have looked at Veronica and said, you got me confused with Chuck, huh? You must got me confused. You got me bent, turned, flipped. You think I'm gonna go fix a drink? I'm your guest. Get your happy ass up and go fix the drink. I might have been a maid for the criers, but I'm not your maid. So hop up, make the drink, hand it to me. See, these people don't know how to check Veronica. Like, that's their problem. Y'all don't know how to come at Veronica. Come at her like a hood person. Like, well, actually, don't come at her like a hood. Just give her back what she gives to you. That's all she needs. Just give Veronica what she gives in return. And then if you just give her that, I'm pretty sure she'll just shut up. She'll be like, oh shit, you ain't backing down to me. No, I don't back down to nobody. So Celine asked her why she helping her. Basically, Celine, you know why Veronica's helping you. Veronica's not helping you out of the kindness of her heart. She doesn't even have a heart. So then Veronica asked her, why has she been quiet? And Celine says, she wants to move on. And then she talks about how she saw Jim. And Jim is still the same, douchebag that he's always been. What do you expect? I don't know what Celine expected from Jim, but it couldn't have been much. So then Veronica says that, what she wants to do with Celine is she wants Celine, her and Celine, she wants to sue Jim for, child support, pain and suffering, and anything else that they can come up with. And then Celine says, you know what, Veronica, I got to think about this because I do not trust you. I'm like, thank God that you got that kind of sense. Don't trust her. So, yeah, Celine says, you know what, let me think about that. I'll get back to you and let you know what's what. But at this point right now, I'm not really feeling you too much because you ain't never spoke to me not one day that I worked for the Criers. That's because she didn't care about you. That's because Veronica felt like you were beneath her. Veronica feels like everybody's beneath her. Let's move on, you guys. Okay, you guys, I can literally do without Landon, Oliver, and Charles. I don't understand what the significance of those three are. I'm not understanding it. Like I said, I can do without Landon and Charles. First of all, Landon and Oliver, they're like jilted lovers. This is so weird when it comes to Landon, Oliver, and Charles. It's like a threesome right there. Because Landon is trying to, get Charles's attention, and so is Oliver. So it's like two boyfriends. Like, oh no, I'm with him tonight. No, I'm with him tonight. No, I'm with him tonight. No, I'm with him. No, I'll take you both. Actually, no, I'll take you. It's stupid. Like I said, I'm kind of over the whole situation with Landon, Charles, and Oliver. But Landon is just coming in there being a complete douchebag to Oliver for no reason. And then he tells Charles that the Attorney General is there. So he comes in there, and he's telling Landon is telling Oliver, let's go. I'm just like, oh my God, what is the significance of this whole stuff with Charles? I'm still confused about this. But Charles is talking to the Attorney General. He's telling him basically that he is replacing him. You couldn't make a phone call telling that man you were replacing him? Ridiculous. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So next up, we got Hannah. So Hannah went to finally visit Catherine. And, Wyatt is still in his cell. He's finally come down from that high, like we said last week. So then Wyatt asked Hannah, will you pray for me? Hannah says, Wyatt? Yes, Hannah, will you pray for me? I was on the drugs. I got a hold of some really bad stuff, Hannah. All drugs are bad, Wyatt. So you can't just really say, oh, I got a hold of some bad stuff. All the drugs are bad, with the exception of weed. That ain't bad. You can make it bad, but it's not bad. But, yeah, so he's talking about, she said she'll pray for him. And, he asked her, how was Jim? She says, he's okay. And then he asked, has she saw Jim? She says, yeah, I saw Jim. And, Catherine's like, you have? She says, yeah, I saw him. She says, how is he? She said, well, he had surgery. And then she said, we had a bit of an altercation because I thought he did something. I thought he shot Benny. But fortunately for him, he didn't shoot Benny. So then Wyatt asked her if she sees him again, will she tell him that, basically he's sorry. She says, if I do see him again, I definitely will tell him that. So then he says, well, my mom, she doesn't believe me. And Catherine's like, you're right, I don't believe you. You're just saying all this stuff so that you can get out of jail. So then, the guard comes and gets Catherine. So he escorts her and Hannah out. And as Hannah is leaving again, Wyatt once again asks her to pray for him. She says, you know what, Wyatt, I'll definitely pray for you. I was like, Hannah, I don't know if I would pray for Wyatt. There's not much prayer you can say for Wyatt because Wyatt has put himself in these positions that he's in. And the biggest issue with Wyatt is his drug addiction. Once Wyatt decides that he wants to get help for that crack or cocaine addiction, then I'll pray for him. But at that point, I wouldn't pray for Wyatt. I'm sorry. I just have to say that. I would not pray for Wyatt because I just don't feel that Wyatt has hit rock bottom yet. You would have thought he hit rock bottom. Ouch. Damn, that hurt. You would have thought Wyatt hit rock bottom the last time that he was in jail when he got raped. But he didn't. He got out and went right back to the same stuff he was doing before. So I don't feel like Wyatt is necessarily at rock bottom at this point. But, he could be. I just doubt he is. So then we do see Hannah and Catherine. They go into the interrogation room and they have a conversation. So, you know, not Hannah, but Catherine asked Hannah, "Do you want to know if I did it?" Hannah was like, no. It might be best that you don't tell me. She says, "You know what? You're right." So then Catherine tells Hannah what she wants her to do. She's put her money into, an account, everything into an account, a trust, and she wants Hannah to run it because Hannah is the only person that she trusts. And she was like, "What about Jim?" She's like, "I wouldn't trust Jim with a lock of my hair." Smart woman. Very smart woman. So Hannah's like, "I don't know. I don't want to get in the middle of that." She's like, "Why are you doing this?" She says, "To protect my assets, in case somebody tries to sue me." So Hannah's like, "You know what? Okay." And then, Catherine's like, this is a win-win for you. Like, she says, because Jim has nothing. So Jim have to come to you for everything. And Hannah was like, I'm like, "Hannah, shut up. That is good for you. He just made you call him Mr. Jim. He made you call him Mr. Jim. So you make him call you Miss Hannah. Call you Miss Hannah and ask you for the money. I would love to see. I would get enjoyment and fulfillment out of Jim Cryer having to grovel to me for some money. I would absolutely 100% be there for it." So then they do talk about Candace and this whole $8 million she has. Hannah says that she believes that Candace and what's his name, Benny, are at the bank. And Catherine tells her, "Hannah, you might want to tell Candace to give him that money back." She says if she gives him the money back, Jim will leave your son alone. Do I believe that? No, I don't. I feel like Jim is, even if Candace gives Jim that money, Jim is gonna still do his best to be a dick to the whole family. And Jim's biggest, I think, besides the money, Jim's biggest grievance is the fact that Benny beat his ass. Like, I would be pissed too. But you guys, let's move on. All right, you guys. So next we see Candace, Benny, and Mitch, and they are at the bar. And Candace is calling the bank up, trying to get somebody to talk to. Benny is still talking. Benny and Mitch are talking. Benny thinks that he's like, Candace shouldn't give that money back. And Hannah calls. So because Candace like, we're going to the bank. So Hannah called, and Hannah was telling them, talking to Candace about going to the bank. Candace says, "We're on our way to the bank, Mama. We're going to the bank now." So she says, "Let me talk to Benny." So she talks to Benny. She tells Benny that she's, visiting Catherine because Catherine just signed over power of attorney to her. And Benny, big ass mouth, he blurts it out loud. I'm like, wow, Benny, why would you do that? So, Benny's also telling Hannah that he don't think that Candace should give the money back. So, they hang up the phone with Hannah because Hannah says, when you guys get to the bank, call me. When it's all said and done, give me a call. They said, "Cool, we got you." So then, oh yeah, so Hannah was talking about how, with Catherine giving her power of attorney, that's gonna make Jim mad. Absolutely, it's gonna make his racist ass mad that he has to ask a black woman for money. Oh God, I can't wait to see that. God, I cannot wait to see that. So I'm gonna group this together because I don't want to talk about them anymore after this. Landon and Oliver. So they go into the office, and you know, Landon is basically telling Oliver if he wants a job, he needs to be nice to him and be less of an asshole. I'm like, says the asshole. Says the asshole. I'm like, Landon was a complete jerk to Oliver for no reason. Now the fact that Oliver was about to bust out crying, I said, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Please don't cry." He walks out and said he gonna cry in the car. So then we see, so Candace, she asked Benny what did Hannah say, and he tells her basically that Catherine is in jail. She gave Hannah power of attorney. She's like, she's in jail for what? I don't know. And she tells them that they need to go to the bank. So, Benny's like, you know what, before we go, I gotta go to the bathroom. So, Mitch and Candace are talking, and Mitch is looking at Candace. He's like, I can see that look in your eye. You're up to something. She's like, no, I'm not up to nothing. She's like, I'm giving his money back. He says, what if I could tell you that Jim won't mess with Benny? She's like, how can you promise that? Well, how do you think he can promise that? He throws around his family's name. He throws around that Malone name. For somebody that doesn't want to be involved with your family's business, you have absolutely no problem using that name to scare people. Like, you have no problem scaring people. Oh, I cannot wait to see how this gonna play out. Cause I wonder if Jim knows that he is Mama Rose's grandson. But if he says Malone, Jim's gonna probably shut the hell up. Like yesterday, I just want somebody to put Jim in his place. That's all I want. I just need somebody that's gonna put Jim in his place. Like, that's all I want. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So we see David, and David is over at the hospital checking on Jim. And, he's telling Jim how he was concerned about him. And Jim was like, man, I don't buy that. What's really going on with you, David? Because something's off with you. So he levels with him. He says, so, I walked in on Jeffrey having sex. I'm just not going to get over that he walked in on Jeffrey having sex. He says, not that there's nothing wrong with it. It's just he wasn't ready to see it. And I get it. It's just not something that you are ready to see. Nothing's wrong with him not being ready to see it. Now, Jim has to go one deeper and try to dig the knife in deeper. Talk about, what were they doing? What do you think they were doing? They were braiding each other's hair. They were braiding each other's pubic hair, Jim. Dummy. So then, Jim's telling him that Celine was there. And, Dave was like, oh, man. I meant to tell you that Celine was here, but I got sidetracked because of Veronica. And, Jim is a complete douchebag because he's talking about how he wants Selena to suffer. And why might you ask us he wants Selena to suffer? Because he did not get the governor's house. I'm like, wow, so we doing this because you weren't governor? Jim, do you ever really believe that you were going to become governor? You have so much stuff that people can dig up about you. Celine was the least of your worries. You were sleeping with Candice. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on. You were sleeping with Candace. You bought the car for Candace. Like, you did a lot of stuff for Candace. Well, she blackmailed you. But, like, there's a lot of stuff that people could have found out about you, Jim. Like, you're sleeping with different women. There were a lot of things that people could have found out about you. A lot of things people could have found out about you. You're racist. What else? The list can go on, Jim. But you want to be mad at Celine because you didn't get the governor's position because of your son that you had with her? Whose fault is that? Not Celine's. Yours. Like, I was just sitting there like, oh my God. So then, David is telling Jim how he's going to turn state's evidence against Veronica to basically get Catherine out of jail and pin Jennifer Salas' murder on Veronica. And Jim's like, wait a minute. Why are you doing that? Like, our hands are just as dirty as Veronica's hands are in a lot of situations. And, David was like, well, I'm going to go talk to George to get an immunity deal, and you should do the same as well. And Jim was like, that is not going to stop Veronica. If you put her in jail, that is not going to stop her from coming after you. I'm like, ding dong. That's not going to stop that witch from coming after you. And then, speaking of the devil in disguise, she walks into the room, and she shows up to give Jim, serve Jim those court papers, serve him a subpoena to go to court. And, he was like, for what? She's like, I'm suing, my client, Celine, is suing you for, child support, pain and suffering, whatever else we can come up with. You've been served. So then, she's talking about how, they've had sex with each other. I'm like, wow. I don't know what to believe. Because one part of me would love to believe, one part of me would not, no part of me wants to believe that she was that desperate to sleep with Jim. Jim is denying it, but it's Veronica, and for some odd reason, I just really do believe Veronica. I really do believe her. Now Jim is vehemently denying it. And after she leaves, actually, before she even came in there, Jim was talking about how he wanted to take her out, how she could have an accident and no one ever know the difference. So, once she leaves, David says, Jim's like, you don't believe her, do you? And David was like, actually, I do. But quite frankly, I don't give a damn. He says, you can do whatever you want with her. Oh, and just to let you know, I slept with Catherine and I slept with her the night of your wedding. He said, well, good. Someone had to do it. I was like, wow. What a douchebag. What a total douchebag. Let's move on. Alright, you guys, so let's close the episode out with Candace. So she and Benny have finally made it to the bank. So, she's going to do this transfer. She's going to give Jim his money back. So we think she's giving Jim his money back. So, the woman goes to get the papers to do the transfer. But she also she asks Candace for her ID. Candace hands her ID. Benny's still over there sulking, talking about you got to be the dumbest person. You should have just took the money and ran. But you could be dead. But okay. I mean, hey, I guess you'd rather be dead. But, whatever. So then a woman comes back in and she asks Benny for his ID. And Benny's like, what do you need? No, I'm not giving you my ID. And the woman said to open up a checking account. So you don't want me to open up a checking account? Candace says, yes. Give her your ID. Now, I don't know why Benny was too stupid to catch what Candace was saying. Candace is saying that she's opening a second account in his name. I'm like, Benny, you got to be the dumbest person on the earth. Besides your cousin Barry on the Oval. You two are dumb as hell. Because I clued into it. I'm like, wait a minute. Candace, this woman just said, open up another account. I'm like, I know what Candace is doing. And Candace has said, my mama's name is not gonna be on. It's not gonna be a joint account, is it? I said, I get what Candace is doing. And right when she said that, I figured it out. Now I didn't know what she was doing. I thought what Candace was gonna do was transfer the full $8 million into Benny's account. But no, what she did was she transferred $1 million into Benny's account, and she gave Jim $8.32. I died laughing when I was like, oh. I'm like, okay. So you got some of the money, Benny has some, and Jim has $8.32 of the money. Good one, Candace. But you guys, that was the haves and have-nots. So be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else. Share this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.